I've stolen $35 from my friend's envelope at the birthday party. It was about 4 years ago, during my classmate's 18th birthday party. As an invited guest, obviously I brought gift, but in the middle of the party OFC I was drunk, but I knew what I was doing. I sneaked to a place where all gifts were stored. I knew that is bad, but anyway I have stolen $35 from envelope, which was one of my friend's presents. Next morning she asked if anyone had taken it. I did not confess. I regret, but I know it does not matter now.
Ripped a page from school textbook and lying about it. Still want to cry after remembering this. Back in middle school, we have math homework textbooks where we can't write in it. So to do homework, we have to copy down the questions or make a photocopy. I forgot to do the homework one day and had 5 minutes before school to do it. There is not enough time to copy down the questions, so I did it on the textbook and ripped the page out. I even cut the perforated edges to make it seems like I printed it just in case I get caught. Lo and behold, my teacher pulled me aside and asked. I said it's printed with special paper. My teacher then asked me to bring my textbook in. I remember to this day the panic and cold sweat coming down my back. I quickly came up with a solution, asking my friend for her textbook. I erased the name on her textbook and wrote mine and gave it to my teacher. Everything is fine in my life after that, but it still haunts me whenever I think about it.
I got donuts from the school cafeteria one morning on credit and never paid it. I got to school super early in 8th grade one morning. I went through the line and got one of those 60 mini donut packs. I had no money in my account, so the worker lady told me I could put it on credit. I never paid it back. I just really wanted chocolate donuts. I paid for every cookie I got in high school during lunch though. I've never left anything unpaid or uncompensated for except on a few rare occasions. I do owe a friend a birthday dinner since her birthday was right when COVID decided to screw with our lives.
I have defrauded a bank of thousands of dollars, defrauded Amazon of delivered products, and defrauded auto insurance companies, and more. As the post states, when I was younger and dumber, I was trying to sell a vehicle of mine, got sent a sketchy check via mail, knew it was fake, but I deposited it anyways and immediately withdrew $4,000 from the account. Got contacted by the bank several times and just claimed fraud, and nothing ever happened to me, and that was that. Nothing was ever brought from that. With Amazon I took advantage of their refund policy and just claimed my product never arrived, and I did that on at least 50 items and always got my money back. Was finally caught on by a rep saying my account was suspicious due to the amount of claims for a package not arriving to me. I freaked out and deleted new Amazon account and all accounts associated and laid low for a while. Now I pay for Prime and always review my products with 5-star, and finally I defrauded an auto insurance company by claiming a vehicle in a parking lot. Somehow struck my vehicle on all 3 sides and that there was no camera footage. There was never any footage. The rep I was speaking to called bullshit on the phone right away, but I remained confident and basically said, well, I see your point on why you would think that, referring to me lying, and played it out and got my car fixed. $5,000 worth of work for a $500 deductible. I have said I didn't recognize charges made via my debit card and got my money back for services that I knew I ordered, but I was able to keep the service even though I got my money back. Have gotten free shit offline by saying I didn't recognize the transaction with my credit cards and was never questioned. I'm sure I've done more than this, but I can't think of anything else. I'm not proud of what I've done.
I used to pinch all of the boys' hands when we had to practice ballroom dancing in primary school. I was 10 to 11 years old, and I remember that at that point, I hated boys because they had bullied and belittled me for years. We were all made to practice ballroom dancing in a circle where the boys stood in the inner circle and the girls on the outer circle. We would move around so that everyone would switch and take a turn with everyone. I would pinch the boys' hands as hard as I could when we first switched each time. A lot of them were shocked but didn't do anything, some didn't react at all, and some would pinch me back. A couple told the teacher and I got in trouble. I remember being shocked when they pinched back. I guess thought that they wouldn't because I'm a girl. I remember for years afterwards I would feel so horrible, I cried myself to sleep every night and was genuinely contemplating trying to contact all of them and apologize somehow. It was really immature and nasty of me. I'm surprised that I've managed to eventually move on and stop thinking about it so much, though. As a child, I copied a poem from a book and won first place in a poetry contest. When I was in the 3rd grade, I was very into reading and writing and often stayed up far past my bedtime reading anything within my comprehension level that I could get my hands on. We had a stack of children's encyclopedias I loved on all sorts of topics: dinosaurs, the planets, world history, etc., including one of stories, poems. One poem stood out in particular. It was about solitude in nature and really struck a chord with me. Because I loved the poem so much, I copied it down into a journal I had of my own writing and passages, poems I found inspiration in. Because I was so young, talking single digits here, it never occurred to me to write down the author or anything, especially not in my own journal. A few weeks went by and my mom had stumbled upon journal while cleaning my room. She read the poem and assumed it was original writing. She approached me about it that night and was so proud of it. Like any 8-year-old, I wanted my mom's approval and pride, so I didn't tell her I had actually found the poem in a book. I didn't think it would be a big deal, and she was so proud. Fast forward a month or two, my mom is reading the Sunday paper and sees a poetry contest for young people. She immediately thinks of my poem and insists I enter it. That afternoon, she had my dad drive us to his office so she could type it up before home computers. She sends a copy into the newspaper and, of course, because it's an 8-year-old's name on an adult's published poem, it wins the first prize in my age group. My parents are so happy with me and I feel so incredibly guilty. Within the next month, the poem and my picture are ran on the front page of the arts section in the paper. I am invited to read the poem as part of an award ceremony for all the contest's participants. Of course, I go because my mom wants us to, and why wouldn't I? I get a small award, a ribbon and maybe a gift card? I don't remember. What I do remember is feeling so incredibly guilty. I have spent more sleepless hours over this poem than I can count. A few years later, we learn about plagiarism in school and I feel as though I'm being personally called out. I remember tearing out the book's page with the poem, ripping it up, and throwing it away wrapped in an unused sanitary napkin because I was so afraid anyone would find out. It's been 20 years since that award ceremony and even though I realize it was a childhood mistake that isn't even that large, I still can't quite shake the guilt. TLDR, when I was 8, my mom read a poem in my journal and assumed it was original writing. I didn't correct her, and eventually she entered it into a poetry contest. It won't first place and I've been guilty for the past 20 years. Edit. Whoa. Thanks guys, you've honestly made me feel a little better. So many have requested the poem so I've posted it below. Couldn't figure out line breaks so I've used slashes. This is my rock by David McCord. This is my rock, and here I run, to steal the secret of the sun. This is my rock, and here come I, before the night has swept the sky. This is my rock, this is the place, I meet the evening face to face.